Hello and welcome back to the Stronghold. I'm the Magi and welcome to Midweek Magic, where I want you to grow your collection by winning 2 free rare or better ICRs each and every week. This week's Midweek Magic is going to have us all brawling on a budget as we select a commander from the brand new Foundation set and build a 100 card Brawl deck around it. And of course, we're going to do it without spending all of your hard-earned wild cards. But before we get into all of that, this whole Midweek Magic thing has become a bit of a tradition here at the Stronghold, and it all started with our crack team of researchers discovering that we were the only YouTube channel making consistent, proactive, and timely Midweek Magic coverage. And here we are years later, and it appears that we're still the only ones out there doing it for the budget community. So be sure to subscribe to the Planeswalker Stronghold so that we can be here for you every chance we get. Now, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, right. Normally for these Midweek Magic videos, I pick one deck and we just kind of run with it. But from time to time, I like to break the rules. And that's why for this week, I have already put out a super budget-friendly Brawl deck usable for this event, or all of your Brawl needs, built around Heir Apparent. That's right, this deck is so budget-friendly, you don't even have to have 100 cards to play Brawl. And it's led by Sir Alan the Lion's Claw, a 5-mana 4/4 with first strike that not only brings a nice little mass pump effect with him, but is already in your collection, thanks to the Foundation's preview starter decks. But you know, we're not going to stop there. Recently I put a survey out to the community with the 4 choices that I had pre-selected for this budget brawl. Keeping in mind only using those budget-friendly commanders, the uncommons from Foundations, as well as the rares that we received in our starter previews, or those that are readily available through jump-in selections. And I feel like the community made the really obvious choice here to go with Elenda, Saint of Dusk. I feel good about it. I think it's going to be a fantastic deck. But Balmore really punched above her weight here, coming in a fairly close second here in her own right. So we're going to be doing a list for her as well. The link for that will be down in the description. All right, before we jump too far into the deck, let's talk about the commander itself, Elenda, Saint of Dusk. Legendary creature, of course, a Vampire Knight, 4-mana 4/4, pretty good baseline stats. Then we get Lifelink, and believe it or not, hexproof from instance, which means she laughs off almost all removal, not all, but almost, as long as your life total is greater than your starting life total, which for Brawl would be 25. Elenda gets +1/+1 and has Menace, just gets better. Elenda gets an additional +5/+5 as long as your life total is 10 greater than your starting life total. So once you hit 35 or greater, this is a 10/10 lifelink menace and hexproof from instance. It's a pretty solid piece to have here. I think it's really one of the undersold Foundations pieces at the moment. If you buy this card in real life, it's like a 50-cent rare, which to me just feels ridiculous. And we're going to give it a good home here in a budget Brawl deck. All right, so let's take a few minutes and take a good hard look at Elenda, the Saint of Dusk. I've taken the liberty of arranging the cards really by availability and access, and I'm just going to start with the land base here on the far right. We kept it pretty basic, as we always try and do, 15 plains, 15 swamps. We've got that concealed courtyard and forlorn flats in there, and of course scoured barrens, because this is a life gain deck. We're also running the shadowy back streets and the Temple of Silence. These are pretty readily available, even the rares, if you've been playing Standard over the last year or so. Several of them actually come in your starter decks. Beyond that, my recommendations are Thran of Portal. Of course, Command Tower is a staple. Fabled Passage is one of those cards I think everybody should have. And Plaza of Heroes is another land that I think is an absolute staple for any deck running a few legendary creatures. And of course, we are starting back over here at the left. This first column is just your Brawl / Commander staples. Most of these cards are already in your collection. Mishra's Bauble, Wayfarer's Bauble, Arcane Signet, Cold Steel Heart, Maze Mine Tome. This is one you might not have, but it's worth a wild card. Mind Stone, and of course, Ornithopter of Paradise. From here, we've got the only 3 cards that I think are really worth crafting specifically for this deck. First up, we've got Radiant Smite, a destroy creature spell with a situational life gain and the ability to cycle it away if you need to. We've also got Limbus, a repeatable draw a card effect or gain 3 life. Whenever it goes to the graveyard from your battlefield, you shuffle it back into your library, so it's very repeatable. And of course, we've got one of the life gain payoff staples, Celestial Unicorn, a 3-mana 3/2. And whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on Celestial Unicorn. From here, we've got some lower rarity things that if you've been following the plan, say over the last year or so, you probably have most of these. If you don't, I think they're worth crafting, particularly if you like this style of deck. Rune Lurker Bat, a 1-mana 1/1 flying lifelink, good stuff. Ginger Brute, this is a 1-mana 1/1 with haste, colorless, pretty much fits in any deck. It's a great little card to have. Johnny's Primate, of course, this is one of the major life gain payoffs. Whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. I believe this is in your starter collection, but I don't remember off the top of my head, so forgive me. Also, we've got Heraldic Banner, a 3-mana, well, kind of a ramp and kind of a color matters payoff. In this particular version of the deck, you are going to want to choose white. Of course, if you make a number of adjustments, you might need to reevaluate that. And then, of course, we've got Patchwork Banner. For the version of the deck that I'm showing, you're going to want to choose Vampire. Good stuff. That's also going to help you with black mana production, as the majority of your vampires are black, as opposed to the Heraldic Banner there. And we can see those breakdowns over here. As you can see, we've got 11 vampires. The next closest thing is like 7 clerics. So there we go. This next column, I'm not going to go through it. This is all cards from your starter collections and things like that. We have a huge 1,000 card plus starter collection right now. It's really ample. And we're going to jump right over here to this column. This is actually the rares, again, from your starter collection that find a nice place in the deck. Charming Prince, Null Priest of Oblivion, also a vampire. Amelia, this is a card that got banned a while back, so hopefully everyone picked up a free copy on that. As you can see, it's banned in Explorer, so no effect on Brawl. We've also got Sanguine Evangelist, another vampire, another go wide effect. Phyrexian Arena, card draw for life is pretty good, especially when you're in a deck that's going to gain you a lot of life. Leonin War Leader, one of our few cats in this deck, but a 4/4 for 4 is really good stats, and anytime it swings, it creates 2 1/1 cat creature tokens with, you guessed it, lifelink, already tapped and attacking. Solemn Simulacrum, this is part of the Foundations. It's also one of those Brawl staples, so it could have gone over here in column 1. But certainly something that I think should be in every Brawl deck, and since you already have one, there's really no excuse. Regal Caracal, another one of our cats, makes all of our cats better, creates 2 1/1 cat creature tokens with, you guessed it, lifelink when it ETBs. This is a great card to blink with your Charming Priest and just get more and more stuff. High Society Hunter, 5 mana, 5/3 flyer vampire. Whenever this creature attacks, you may sacrifice another creature. If you do, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. Whenever another non-token creature dies, draw a card. Lots of tokens and things like that generated by this deck, so there is some fodder there. And flying, evasive, vampire, it's good stuff. Now, one thing I have not done in this deck is lean into vampire with a bunch of extra lords and things like that, because it's really not part of our starter collection base, but it may be part of your collection, so don't miss out on that if it is. And hey, just in case you didn't catch all that, Matt would like you to know that the deck list that we discussed in this video is going to have a link down in the doobly-doo to take you over to Aetherhub, along with a link to any other alternative lists that you might wish to consider. He only asks that you give it a little thumbs up when you're over there checking out the deck list. And I plan on live playing this event on Wednesday at 11 a.m. over on my Twitch channel, so definitely stop in and check it out. Because the Stronghold is so much more than just a YouTube channel, and you can find links to all of our other social media outlets in our profile. Because at the end of the day, we're all budget players. And as a community, we're stronger together. So like, comment, subscribe, follow, do all those things to show a little love. It's appreciated more than you know.